Welcome, friends, to Entrepreneur Stories. My name's Fred Arnold at 360 Suites. I'm joined by Mark Crear. Mark, PhD?
Dr. Crear.
Yeah. And did you get your PhD from USC as well? I know your undergrad was from USC.
Yes.
Yeah.
Shoulders.
And you're the founder of In the Zone Coaching, Consulting, and Counseling.
Yes.
And you also do it both on the athletic field and off the athletic field in the business world.
Yes, from the field to the boardroom.
That's right.
Everybody needs to be able to stay in the zone.
Yep. Now, a lot of people really know you as a two-time Olympian.
Yes.
What years?
Now you're dating me now.
Yeah. Okay. What cities?
Yes. No, 96 Atlanta Summer Olympic Games, and then 2000 was the Sydney, Australia Summer Olympic Games.
Yeah. So Sydney and Atlanta. Right. And tell me, just when you heard that you were going, I mean, you don't really hear, right? Because you're the fastest or you're not the fastest. No. Is it pure time or do they select you?
It's a selection and time. To make it to the Olympics, you have to go through the Olympic trials.
Right.
And to be the Olympic trials, you have to be in the top 3 in the United States of America. Not just your city, not just your state, but you got to be in the whole USA. You got to be in the top 3.
Yeah.
And then to get a medal, you have to be in the top 3 in the world.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people you got to beat.
Yeah.
That's a lot of people, but it's worth it.
You know, it's about being world class, and you were world class in the 110 meters.
Yes, 110 meters.
That was the hurdles.
Yes.
Yep. And the second one, was it just the high hurdles? Yep.
Yes, both of them.
Yeah. Very good. So let's talk a little bit let's stay in the athletic side.
Sure.
Because, I think there's an athlete in all of us, right? And there's world class in all of us. There might have only been 3 people in this world that qualified for the Atlanta Games and Sydney Games when you qualified in this country. But there can always be a couple hundred great physicists, great business people, great educators, right?
Right.
But so let's talk about not being the best, but being world class.
Being elite.
Being elite in what you do, right?
Yeah.
So what does being elite mean to you? Because it translates differently. Because elite is the top 3 to make it.
Yes.
But in life, there's a lot of winners.
Well, and that's the good question. You got your winners, and you got what is successful, and what is success. Everybody's not going to be Mark Crear. Everybody's not going to be a 2-time Olympian. I took 2 spots out of 6 spots for 2 different Olympians. Not too many people in history has done that. But I think it's just creating that drive, and we always say it. You got to know your why. I have this 3 P that goes with the end zone is purpose, passion, and permission. And you got to give yourself permission.
That was interesting.
Yeah.
Most of the time, it's not asking permission from somebody else. Now, I guess if you're asking permission to work late all the time because you have a family, but you have to give yourself permission to be world class, right?
Give yourself permission to fail, to succeed, to get back up. A lot of people, it's funny because they can handle defeat, but a lot of people can't handle success. Because when you state a goal, you have no excuses. When you verbally commit to something, I'm going to make it to the Olympics. You got people holding you accountable.
Yes.
They're going to say at the end of the 4 years, now what'd you come up with? So it's that fear of failure, fear of success, giving yourself permission, whether it's the athletic field, whether it's corporate, give yourself that permission. And then with the permission comes your passion. Because like I said in my end zone, it's one thing to get there, but we have to stay there. And I think consistency is the middle of champions. So you have to stay committed, stay motivated, and that's the challenge right there.
Well, I always say repetition, lack of a better word, boring is really one of the keys to success.
Sure.
It's just how do you get through that? Because to be really good at something, you have to do it over and over and get a little incrementally better and over and over. So tell me back in the day, when you first went to USC, I'm sure it was much different than you were probably just fast in high school, right?
No.
Oh, really?
No.
So you're saying the process started then?
The process started. I didn't start track until my senior year. A lot of people don't know that. How can you be coming to the Olympics and get a scholarship to USC? But I didn't start my senior year. Came from a physically and abusive childhood, so I had a lot of trauma and was just trying to, actually the way I got in the track, trying to stay away from the homes, not get hit, not get yelled at, not get beat. So a guy by the name of Frank Jardine said, hey, you need to run track. And it's my senior year. I was thinking girls in shorts and tights. I'm like, I'm there.
And where were you? Where did you grow up? Southern California?
Yeah, Southern California. You know, moved around a lot. 4 elementary schools in 5 years, 3 high schools. You know, just bopped around a lot. But I winded up in Roland High School in Roland Heights over there, and then went to Mount Sac, and then from Mount Sac got a scholarship to USC.
Okay. So you did take that step.
Yes.
Do you think you needed to be developed longer, or did your body mature when you started at Mount Sac, or did you miss those years in high school? Could that have helped you?
I think it could have, but I wouldn't trade it. There's a lot of people that ran youth in high school that don't have 2 Olympic medals.
And they got burned out maybe.
Yeah, so, but I think it's just that drive. I think that, in my philosophy, I'll give a person a hand up but not a hand out.
Yeah.
And I think that, especially this generation, Fred, people you have to convince them. But back then, we didn't need convincing.
Oh, no.
We just...
Well, you told me your convincing was not wanting to be home, and
exactly.
that's kind of convincing enough.
Right there. So it was a lesson, but then I've learned how to share that with everyone else, because what good is going through something if you're not able to help someone else out and give someone that hand up?
Yeah. My father that was convincing. I didn't want to let him down.
Yeah.
So what it is that you're going to do.
Yes.
So, drugs was not a question, because I didn't want to let him down.
Exactly.
And more than anything else, and then of course I didn't want to let myself down.
That was your why.
But I didn't want to let my dad down, and so I could have gotten in some trouble, but why is it that you do what you do? So let's talk about the discipline of the monotony of repetition. Because we seem to struggle with that as adults versus it's one of those things that when I coach these young kids in t-ball,
sure,
the parents never understood why we just hit ground balls to them. We used little rubber balls because it rained a lot, and so at the beginning of this, we started in January. It rained and rained and rained, and the fields were terrible. You practiced on. So I just hit them ground balls on a flat surface, over and over, and I made them wear their cleats, because if they took too big of a step, they would slide. Because it's all about the small steps, right?
Start playing
over and over. And I remember the parents just saying, when are they going to start scrimmaging? When are they going to start doing this and that? And I kept saying, they got to learn to play catch first.
Yeah, they got to learn the fundamentals.
So let's talk about the fundamentals and how that translates to the business world.
Well, in anything, I said consistency is the mill of champions. And once you know your why, that's where that purpose, passion, permission, that purpose is why. Why am I sitting here not eating a double with grilled onions, animal style, not having those cookies that I love?
Oh, man.
Training at 110 degree out here in Valencia. Why am I doing that? You got to remember your why. And there's a difference between having a goal, a vision, and a mission, and most definitely a purpose. So if you are a business owner, your purpose, what is your mission statement? So every day I remind myself, there's a spiritual quote that says, daily renewing of your mind. You got to renew your mind every day to remind yourself, because, I'm Mark Crear. I was number 1 in the world. But I've always trained, and when at life I said I'm number 2. So you always keep. I remember when Kobe Bryant was out here, he said, we were doing some work together, and it's like, I told him it's not, it's not thinking outside the box, it's thinking around the corner. You have to always keep improving, not hard on yourself, but always train like you're number 2, like you're still hungry, and you always, 9 times out of 10, be the best you can be.
I learned that. I was running for elected office in my little town of Santa Clarita, where I live, and I remember someone saying, run as if you're not leading, you're behind by 10 points.
Right.
And just keep going harder and harder and harder. And I remember that. And it's the same thing in life and in business, is continuously improving just a little bit every day.
Business especially. Now you got cultures, you got things that I'm passionate about, like imposter syndrome, all these emotional, intelligent issues that most companies don't really deal with, that I go in and I talk to them about it, because you are the sum of your experiences. And if your employees don't feel safe or don't feel valued, then your productivity is going to drop.
I want to talk about, you said something really interesting, imposter syndrome. I was having a conversation with them, JCIs, young professionals, and I said to them, I says, sometimes I feel like I have imposter syndrome when I'm just talking into my phone and giving some advice on something, right? But the truth is, in some aspects, I do have expertise in that.
Sure.
So why is that? It's because somebody in my life at one point told me, why are you doing that? Like, how much information do you have on that? Like, they put these seeds of doubt in your mind.
Spoke that negativity. Right?
Yeah. And then you kind of go with that.
Well, see, that's
don't.
the highlight. You accepted it.
Yeah.
I tell my clients all the time, Fred, let your faith be greater than somebody else's doubt.
Yeah. Say it again.
Let your faith be greater than that doubt.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's somebody, you believe that. You received that.
Yeah.
And that's where I take the ownership. And imposter syndrome, I suffered from that. Michelle Obama, minorities, women, some people suffer from it, especially if you come from traumatic, childhoods, and you didn't have the self-esteem and the belief and just the way society is. Think about it. When you're a child, everybody says no. No, that's the first thing you hear when you're a kid, and when you grab the keys and put them in your mouth. No, when you're about to walk off.
Oh, yeah.
No. So you're programmed subconsciously.
There's no.
Negativity, rejection.
I hate the word no, by the way.
Oh, man.
Some of my friends that are listening to this are going to say, yes, he does not like to word the word no.
I can't.
Or red lights or dirty cars. That's one.
Exactly. I get you there. Dirty car, you're funny.
A dirty car, red light, or a no. You said something about imposter syndrome, and I would like to share.
Okay, sure.
I ask you to share. In what? Was it when you were running? When you went into business? What was it?
And here I am, I got my clinical psychology degree in clinical psychology, USC grad. But children are wet cement. And as we get older, it hardens. So that traumatic experience of abuse gets in you, and then you start feeling, and for those who don't know, imposter syndrome is when you feel like you're not good enough, when you feel like you're a fraud.
Yeah.
Even when you're an SME, to your point, subject matter expert, even when you have knowledge, you still doubt yourself. And there's 3 or 4 different types of, imposter syndrome characteristics, but, this is not a lecture, We'll do another show on that. But there's different types. There's that heroism, there's that self-doubt, there's different types of imposter syndrome. Coming from a faith-based background, you have even spiritual imposter syndrome. Because you're not perfect, you're going to think, well, I'm not a believer. But again, that's just the negativity of you believing what society says instead of that faith.
Oh man, that's beautiful. Mm-hmm. I love to hear that, because I think what happens, I see it all the time. You've got parents just go harder, do this, do that, and they're kind of in your ear, right?
Yes.
And they're in your ear, and really interesting thing about it, I got to share this with you.
Go ahead.
It's one of my pet peeves.
Go ahead. Besides the dirty car.
Yeah. Besides that, I see these kids swimming. I'm a swimmer, and I love watching swimming. I love swimming, and I see these kids doing laps, and I see the parents drinking mochas and out of shape, and that drives me crazy, because it's kind of like they're. Hey, you didn't go hard enough.
Do it as I do, not what I say.
Exactly. Go get in the water.
Not what I do.
But there's a certain point.
Fat track coach. I see him all the time. I'm like, Usain Bolt. Yeah. Coach is like 300 pounds. I'm like, bro.
When you resort to your old natural way of being.
Just blowing the whistle is easy, I guess.
We're gonna get in trouble for some of this, but that's true. But I always go, gosh, be the example.
Yeah.
I once someone asked me, why do you do these Ironman races? And I thought about it, and I go, well, perhaps my kids catch me in the act of excellence.
Right. That's good.
And at first it was kind of like I'd invite them to go to a race. And I was kind of like a kid with my parents, right? I wanted my kids to see, and it was, Dad's living a different life now. He's doing different things, and it resonated with me as maybe my kids someday will catch me in the act of excellence.
I'm gonna use that.
And I think that was one of my whys, and now it's maybe other people in this world can be inspired by a thing I do, And I think that's what's important, is understanding what drives you, why do you get up, why do you do what you do, and are you doing it on automatic pilot, or are you doing it consciously?
Well, see, there your point. That's why I got and I'm not going back to it, but that's why this whole in the zone CCC, coaching, counseling,
I love it,
because we find, get, stay, and we start off, there's a lot of people in the zone, twilight zone,
Yeah.
Negative zone.
The drinking zone.
Exactly.
Yes.
Lazy zone.
The TV
Coach
zone.
Francis, Usain Bolt, Coach Zone. I can say that to him. But but there's a lot of different zones. So you got to be in the right zone because you can think you're doing something, but it's counterproductive. Even starting your business or the economy is tough now.
Yeah.
But you got to know your why, and then you got to have that faith, and that's where you got to give yourself permission to fall and keep trying.
Yeah.
You and I both know it's not easy.
Let's talk about failure because that's the I always had this fear of failure, right, of not accomplishing. I remember back in this must have been in 2019. I had done 2 or 3 Ironman races.
Well, I commend you for that.
And I had done. Thank you. I mean, I had completed. This was I think my 4th full Ironman race.
Wow.
But I had completed these halves, and they became easy. Like I would just show up and race.
Commend you for that.
And I was in my 50s about this time, and I remember the first time I didn't fail. I didn't finish, and I felt like such a failure. And it was some of the best growth I ever had.
Yeah.
I felt like a failure, like I let people down because I would. A lot of people would follow me. Hundreds of people would comment because I'd go, "Hey guys, I'm getting ready to race. Talk to you later." And I would have my phone at the transition say, "Hey guys, it's going good. Gotta go."
Wow.
And it was just kind of a cool, fun thing. I would share with people, and then they would inspire me, and I'd get more motivated.
Okay.
And I remember I didn't fail, and I started to tear up, and I
didn't finish.
stopped.
And you failed. Yeah.
I didn't finish the run.
And you felt.
I mean, there was athletes like laying on the ground that looked much 20 years younger than me that were ripped on $10,000 bikes. I was on a $6,000 bike and I was 50 something, right?
Representing.
Yeah, and I remember I feel like since I failed that time, I realized that failure was not failure.
Well, see, right there we have to correct. This is Dr. Mark coming out, but we keep saying that word, and I don't believe in using that word failure because you didn't fail. You just didn't accomplish your goal.
Yeah.
You had enough courage to start it. Next time you just have to finish it. But you only fail when you stop.
Yeah.
And did you go back?
Oh, yeah.
And did you do it again?
I conquered it 2 years later.
Well, what are we talking about?
Yeah.
That's not a failure.
I was so happy.
That's free therapy right there.
There's 2 races I did not finish, 2 fulls I did not finish, 3 fulls I did not finish, 2 of them I've gone back and accomplished. The last one is in New York, the Mount Placid. Mount Placid. I got to go back there and conquer that one. I got five miles into the run.
See, that's not a failure, Fred. Yeah. That's just to be continued.
Yeah, to be continued. Exactly. Exactly.
I mean, people don't know, well, most people do, but scholars in 1996, I won a silver medal with a broken arm. I broke my left arm 2 weeks before the Olympic Games. At UCLA, that's probably why. And that was the most excruciating pain that I've ever been through.
Oh, because you were at UCLA, that's why you broke your arm?
No, it was Fred Rogan. There was a sports announcer by the name Fred Rogan.
Yeah.
They were doing post and pre-coverage.
Yeah.
And he wanted to get under the hurdle and take a picture of me going over the hurdle. Nice shot.
Yeah.
But when I was going over the hurdle, I would have stepped down on the cameraman. So I reached my leg out, twisted my ankle, came down, fell, and broke my left radial head all right here. 2 weeks before.
Before Atlanta or Sydney?
Yeah, for Atlanta. 2 weeks before, actually a week before the games, 2 weeks before I ran. You talk about the whole world coming.
Yeah.
That's where you needed to be in the zone.
And you got a silver.
Yeah.
3 weeks later.
Yeah.
What was the Olympic experience like?
Let me tell you, it was rewarding. And this, being an Ironman, all the hard work, all the discipline, all the dedication, all the determination, all the no's, all the parties, get-togethers, it was worth it. And especially saying that I did it naturally. No drugs, no assistance, and just to really look yourself in the mirror. And then this is where you have your children, because I didn't care if I won first, second, or third. I wanted my daughter to see what determination was. I wanted my daughter to see what commitment was. I wanted my daughter to see what effort was, and and then I was successful after that, because that's what they need.
Yeah.
No matter what you're going to need discipline, dedication, and determination.
You mentioned, and we'll end it on this conversation because I think it's so fitting as parents or even as a mentor or leader, and that is those that admire, appreciate, look up, those you lead, and it could be no matter where you work, right?
Sure.
You have someone that you're helping out. They're modeling you. They're seeing what you
Always.
do. And so, especially with children, but also at work. You pick up a piece of paper as you're walking by it.
The higher
stepping
you are,
over
the
it.
more visible you become.
Exactly.
City on a hill can't hide.
Yeah, exactly, right? And it's important that when you just model the best you can do.
That's all.
You know, the best you can do. And when you're climbing up a hill, don't be the king on top of the hill. Be the ones that are going back down and pulling people up.
Give somebody a hand up. Not a hand out, but a hand up.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Those that want to get your coaching, how can they reach you?
Oh, they can reach me inthezoneccc.com.
Yeah.
That's markcrear.com, MarkCrear. Or you can come and ask Fred. You know.
Yeah, I'll tell you how to reach out to this guy. If you're looking for a speaker, a consultant, or just getting better. And you got to go soon and coach these kids up on this hot day,
This 100 day, and I got to motivate these kids, put down that Jamba Juice and just get out there.
Got to motivate these privileged kids, right?
We got the big ones and the privileged ones. We're going to get in trouble for this show, I tell you.
That's okay. Always model excellence. Well, I hope you enjoyed this show from 360 Suites and Entrepreneur Stories. I'm your host, Fred Arnold. Click online and find out more. If you'd like to be a guest, shoot us an email, fred@fredarnold.com. Until we talk again, make it a great day.
Thanks.